Hello and welcome back to the True Crime Friday podcast with Lauren and Matt. Quick disclaimer, we are not glorifying these criminals, we're simply interested in the psychology of the crimes. We do add a comedic element to the episodes to lighten the mood, but all comedic aspects are aimed at the criminals and not the victims. We do not make any money from this podcast, it is always free with zero ads. Some cases will involve us going into extreme detail, which some people may find upsetting and or disturbing. If that is the case, this may not be the podcast for you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi everyone, hope you're okay. How y'all doing? The weather's shit in the UK right now. It's so bad. Well, it's raining. It's meant to be July, and it's been like 18 degrees and rain. It's been fucking dreadful. How's it up in Scotland?
Well, we're further north, so as you could expect, we've not had any great weather too. Well, it's just, I find it funny because it's not nice weather yet. They have in the radio at my work, they play. Well, I didn't know what the song was until it played on the radio, but it's Raining Again by Supertramp. I know who Supertramp are, but I'm like, of course, they're playing songs about it raining again and the weather's horrible. It's been alright at some points, but no. Horrible, so not really much of a summer. It puts a damper on the mood, and especially for me when I have to work outside at times. Can't really get outside and do some jobs. So,
Shite. Utter shite. That is what it is.
I can't actually act surprised though, but I'm grateful and glad that I'm not going to any outdoor events or anything like that the rain would put a damper on that. So, well, not yet at least. So that's a plus, because the worst thing is seeing it rain and being like, crap, I have that thing outside. I'm going to get soaked. Shit.
I think everything I've got planned until like August is all indoors. So like, mine and Jacob's anniversary meals tomorrow, and I'm wearing heels, so I'm like, no, we're getting Uber there. I'm not walking. I can't be asked. And we're gonna be there at 2, so I was like, no, I really can't be asked. So we're getting Uber there. No arguments there. And then Sunday, my brother's birthday. He's turning 20. He is an adult. He's a full fucking grown adult. So gotta go round and see them. But they only live around the corner, so that's nothing. Then what's next week? Next Saturday is my birthday night out, because it's almost my birthday, and my birthday's on a Tuesday. So I was like, right, so I've got this is just awkward now. So doing like Crazy Pedro's bottomless brunch, so it's like bottomless pizza and bottomless drinks. It's absolutely amazing.
So unlimited.
Yeah, it's for 2 hours.
Oh,
it's like 30,
unlimited pizza.
I think it's like 30 quid, and you get unlimited pizza slices and drinks.
Well, as much as you can drink and eat, obviously, so...
Yeah, you get your money's worth, because a Crazy Pedro's pizza is like 15 quid. So, you get your money's worth.
Oh, that's not bad, yeah, it's not bad, yeah.
Pizza slices are pretty massive as well, because you can buy either when you go there, you can either get, like, pizza, like the whole pizza, or you can get it by the slice, because the slices are quite big. So, you get your money's worth. It's pretty good. So we're doing that before we go out afterwards, which is, to be fair, is smart, because like they're really good with their system. You can't get another drink unless you have a pizza slice with it at the same time. You gotta get both at the same time so you don't overdo it. So you line your stomach up pretty well for a night out. It's pretty good. And what have I got after that? Week after that, I'm at Comic-Con, which is also indoors. So if the rain decides to carry its way out that long, it's like I'm not really.
What, Manchester Comic-Con?
Yes.
Anyone good going to that?
Karen Gillan's going.
Oh, I saw her earlier this year.
Yeah, she's going.
She's very nice.
Who else is going? Liverpool Comic Con is currently winning for November. Liverpool Comic Con is just getting...
Yeah, it tends to. Well, I would say that in the sense of like the Edinburgh one tends to get a lot of good people compared to Aberdeen. Granted, the Aberdeen one's new, but we have had people come up here. But Edinburgh obviously got Ewan McGregor, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But even having some of the people that have already been to some of the ones I have isn't necessarily just a bummer if they were going to all of them, because at least means you get a chance to see them. Although I do prefer it though that obviously, I find it better. Well, for me, I think it works both ways, to be fair. But I like it on the fact that with Karen Gillan or any people who are Scottish come to the Aberdeen Comic Con because they're at home, and I feel like they can be a bit more funnier, or they're a bit more laid back that they're at home. And then it's even more funnier. It's probably like this at the Manchester one as well, that when Americans come over, because of where they are, it's even more of like a thing. Well, whenever any Americans come here, it's the instant talk of, have you had a look around, tried the food, blah, 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 and then funny stuff spurs off that. But I have, you're in the same boat as me, where it's like, oh, Manchester one's great, but Liverpool gets, the better ones. Oh, Aberdeen one's great, but Edinburgh gets just the edge on some people.
Yeah, I think like Catherine Tate's also going, but it's my friend. Like, I've been to Comic Con a few times. I took Jacob last year for the first time, but we're going with my friend Luke as well, and he's never been, and he gets paid the day before, and he is obsessed with Star Wars and Lego. So this is going to go so funny for me, because I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm doing, because there's a stall there, and the guy's confirmed that he's going this year. I bought from it last year. They make Lego that Lego won't make with actual Lego pieces. So I bought David Tennant's Sonic Screwdriver out of Lego last year. It was great. They also do lightsabers. And I know for a fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab Luke. I'm going to drag him to that stall. I'm just going to put him in front of it and just go, see you later, have fun with that. I'm run away.
Well, as long as he can budget himself. That's all I'm going to say, is he can budget himself. Because I usually say for the 2 days that I go, I give myself about 200 quid. Because I'm like, that's enough where if I limit how much I have, then I won't just impulse buy. Because you were probably the same when you went to Comic-Con. And anyone who's nerdy, you see so much stuff and you're like, want that. But in a realistic sense, it's like, I need to watch, otherwise my bank account will be coughing and out pops a butterfly from a wallet.
Like, to be
or
fair,
a moth.
I've noticed over the years I'm not that bad when it comes to Comic-Con. I'm not too bad with it. I'm actually pretty alright with my spending at the actual event. I'm normally okay, because it's more Jacob, and Jacob loves his Funko Pop, so Jacob gets screwed over when he sees a Funko Pop stall. He's like, there we go.
Oh, mystery boxes as well. They do Funko mystery boxes and stuff, and
yeah,
that's another thing.
Yeah, mystery boxes get you as well. I got a Star Wars one last year, and it was actually pretty decent.
I got a Star Wars one too. Yeah. What was in your one?
Oh, fuck me. It was a Star Wars diary, a Star Wars, cap. I got... what did I get? I think I got a Padme Funko Pop pin. Those massive ones.
Because it sounds similar to what I got, because I got a hat as well. I think it said Rebel Alliance, and I got a diary which was like Chewbacca on the outside, or it was like Chewbacca, and then I got a Jedi Order top, and then I got Luke with Yoda on the back bobblehead. That was a mystery box. Well, you kind of knew what you were getting, but I liked that.
It's like 20 quid, the mystery boxes, max, and you tend to get stuff that is way more more than the 20 quid. Like mine, so my diary, I've got it with me now. My diary was an Obi-Wan Kenobi one.
Oh, nice. But the good thing is when you get it and you actually feel like you got your money's worth. And I'm only saying that because the first year we went, and this is just a heat of a warning, there was one store that we went to and it was a Lego mystery bag. And the mystery bag was, I think, 15 or 20. And it was literally not worth it on the sole fact that all the Lego stuff was just nilt. There was a Lego magazine, or like a cheap Lego magazine that had a tiny set in it, which would probably retail for about, £5 or something like that. So Sean bought it and he felt very bumped off because he thought he'd actually get some decently small sets that would lead up to the thing. But most mystery boxes I've bought have been worth it. So
yeah, Comic-Con, I'm quite good with my spending. I think I only bought the mystery box last year. Oh no, I bought Jacob so he loves the band Ghost, so I got him a Funko Pop of Tobias. So I got him that because he was like umming and ahhing. He was looking at it going, I really want it, and kept moving away, but I kept looking at it. And I was like, I will buy it, you just to shut you the fuck up.
It's the moving away and back. Like, oh, we'll come back to that stall.
Like,
we'll come back.
You know you're gonna do it. But I'm not too bad with Comic-Con. It's when we went to the For the Love of Horror convention. That was where I was like, oh no. Because the thing is with like the nerdy stuff, I'll look at a lot of it and go, yeah, but where am I going to put this? Where's this going to go? Am I going to get any use out of it realistically? And I'll completely dismiss it. I'll be like, right, okay, it's fine, and that'll be my logic the entire way through, and I can do that easy. But yeah, and what was the other thing? Yeah, I got like the Lego thing, but that's on display in my living room, and then I got like these earrings that can go through my tunnels because I've got stretched ears, and they've got ghost face on them. So they're like, I got those from Comic-Con. I think they're like £8. They were great. And then Love of Horror is just goth heaven. So you got the typical things from like movie sets and the masks and all this kind of stuff, but then you've also got gothic prints to put up in your house, like gothic kitchen stuff, some like gothic like blankets, all this kind of stuff. It's basically stuff that I decorate my flat with anyway, so I technically get more use out of it because I just replace the stuff that is basic in my flat with the cool stuff that I got at the horror convention. And they've got a taxidermy stall and everything. Like it's basically right up my street. Last time, for Love of Horror, I spent a fair bit of money because I had inheritance money that came in like 2 days before. So I was like, I'm gonna treat myself today, and I bought the guy who did my bullet for my Valentine jacket. He had his stall there, and he does like bags and wallets and all this kind of stuff. It's expensive, but he does them, and he had his own little stall. So I went up to go say hi. I was wearing the top that he made for me, and I went up to go say hi to him. Bought a t-shirt which had Ghostface on the front. Actually, I got the long sleeve that had Ghostface on the front. That was only at £25, but then I ended up buying a bag, which is my Jack Skellington bag with all the spikes on it, and that cost £100 because it's hand painted and handmade. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is the convention that screws me over. This convention where I spend all my money.
But it was made by independent seller.
It's handmade. It's literally just him and his wife that have the business.
So you're supporting him, so it doesn't feel bad that you spent that much because you're supporting someone who is a friend in your eyes.
Oh yeah, and I also got a bottle of wine because there was this stall that had like gothic bottles, like wine bottles, and it was red wine, and I love me some red wine, and he had like little tasters so you can see if you liked it before you bought it. And I don't
taster.
I don't drink brandy, but he had this brandy bottle. If he had wine in that kind of a bottle, I would have freaking bought it with no questions asked, because it's like a circle bottle, but it's got a chain, like a rustic chain around it, like it's cursed, but it's a brandy bottle. And I was like, I don't drink brandy, but I just want the bottle. But obviously you can't just buy the fucking bottle. So I bought a bottle of red wine, and that was really good. I had a very good time, but yeah, I got that at the end of the month. I'm busy for a lot of this year. I've got something on every month, and I'm loving it.
Better to be busy than sitting around being like,
oh yeah, hands down.
Which is impossible to be like, because we do this weekly, so we always have something at least to look forward to, even if there's absolutely nothing happening in the week.
Exactly, but speaking of this podcast, it is your week this week.
Hang on, I didn't get the guy up. No, I am absolutely excited to cover this. I actually got this from TikTok. When you scroll on TikTok and you come across a post where it's just a bunch of photos and there's like eerie music in the back and there's a bunch of text, and because obviously TikTok has the feature where you can slide through multiple photos in a post, and this guy's face just popped up, and I was like, because if you know when people put up true crime stuff on TikTok, they tend to just do that, like a still photos, and then in the description or whatnot, or on each photo there's some text explaining it, and there's eerie music in the back, and this boy's face popped up, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was like, what surrounds the case is very interesting, because I don't know if we've covered anyone like this before. Maybe we have, I can't remember, but we're going to cover a fugitive.
Okay.
Have we done a fugitive before?
So someone who's not been caught?
Yes.
We've done, like, cases that are unsolved, because, like, we did the Zodiac Killer, so technically, but I think we've confirmed the Zodiac Killer's dead now. So, we've never covered a case where that person is still being manhunted. We've not done that before, no.
Yeah, because I thought, well, if you don't catch a killer, they're technically a fugitive, but a fugitive is someone who, well, from my Googling just to make sure, is a runaway or a person who's fleeing from custody, jail, just not wanting to be arrested, for doing a crime that is, well, could be anything really. When I actually looked at a list of fugitives just to compare, loads of other ones were like drug cartel folk and that sort of thing. But this person actually did kill people. Before you think, oh, it's a fugitive who's not killed anyone, they have. And this is one where this is a good case, as I was doing this, to be like, well, at the end of this, you can make your own assumption as to you think what's happened, if they are alive, if they're not alive, and, will they ever be found? So, yes, I'm so excited for this case. And, yeah, the case we are going to cover, and you might know this because this guy was like a top dog fugitive for like being wanted, and I'll explain that later. But we are going to talk about Robert William Fisher.
Okay, I have no idea.
Never heard. I hadn't before, but then when I researched this, I was like, "Wow, this guy is a big deal. How have I not seen this guy before?"
10 most wanted fugitives. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, like right. I'll get into it because he's like a big deal. So, obviously, if you do Google this, because he's a fugitive, they've only got photos of what he looked like before this happened. So, realistically, what he looks like now could be anyone's thing. But this would be an interesting case because it's a fugitive that if we ever get a result to the end of this or not. But no. Yeah, let's get into this. So, Robert William Fisher. As for the disclaimer, we have to talk about. I think we just talk about general violence, but we need to talk about child death within this one. So we don't like children.
So you don't like children dying?
Yes. I'm trying to think, because if I say it, it might give it away. But basically, people do not survive an explosion, more so sense. There's no blood, gory, or anything like that. But I don't want to say too much before if I say it, and then you go, oh, well, that's what's happened. So, yes. I mean, first impressions, if you look at the photo, he is a balding man. A balding man. Might not be now. So, yeah, but the photo that you get on Wikipedia of him is the one that I saw on TikTok. Just saw that with text, and I was like, okay. So, yeah, Robert William Fisher, who is born on April 13th, 1961, which would make him age 63. If he is still alive, he would be age of 63. So, very, very old now. He was born in New York City, in New York, which is in the United States. It has quite a decent amount of information on him, obviously, because he's a fugitive, so having all the information what he looks like is crucial to finding him. So he's about 182 centimeters, 6 foot in height, weighs about 86 kg, 190 pounds. His occupation was he was a surgical technician, a respiratory therapist, and a firefighter. He had two siblings, and his parents were William Fisher and Jane Howell. He had a wife who was Mary Cooper, who is not alive, and two children, Brittany Fisher and Robert William Fisher Jr., also sadly not alive. Status currently unknown, no idea where the hell this guy is, nothing, zilt, not a thing. Still a fugitive. And he was added on to the most wanted list on June 29th, 2002, and he was removed in 2021 on November the 3rd. So that is almost 20 years. He was on the FBI's most wanted list. And yeah, that's how he is a big deal, being on there for that long. Number 475 on the list. So yeah, I'll just say what his charges are if he is found. He would be charged with first-degree murder, 3 counts in a felony, unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, and first-degree arson. So yeah, I don't want to explain too much. I have an intro, but yeah, as I said, he was removed from the FBI's most wanted fugitive list, and despite him being removed from the top 10, as you saw, like the top 10 most wanted people in the United States, pretty big deal. He still is a wanted fugitive. They've not forgotten about him. But yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, holy shit. How can one of the top 10 most wanted men in the US, and I have no idea about this guy? Do not know who the others are. But, 19 odd years, they've been fucking searching for that guy, or while he was on the top 10 list, and they couldn't find him. So let's explain what he's done and his life, as far as we know. So as for his early life, so his name is Robert William Fisher, and he was born on April 13th, 1961 in Brooklyn, New York City. Now, his father was William Fisher, a banker, and his mother was Jane Howell. They had 3 offspring, Robert, and 2 daughters. The parents divorced in 1976 when Robert was 15. After this, he and his sisters went to live with their father in Arizona. All 3 attended Hurado High School in Tucson, Arizona. Tucson. According to friends and relatives, the divorce was turbulent and had long-lasting effects on him. A friend from high school stated Robert was very bitter about it. Fisher reportedly spoke of his parents' separation with co-workers at Mayo Clinic Hospital close to the time of the murders, and once confined to an associate that his life would have been different had Jane not left the family. Obviously, everyone's life would be different if the parents didn't split, and I've never had to deal with that, having split parents, but I can imagine it leaves a very long-lasting effect on someone, and more so than others, as we will explain a bit more in this case. But yeah, he very much affected him when his parents split. So, for his adult life, so Fisher enlisted in the United States Navy and attempted to become part of the SEALs, but was not successful. I assume that photo that was taken was of him in the United States Navy. The main photo that you get. It looks like that's a naval photograph. He was an avid outdoorsman, hunter, and fisherman. Fisher worked as a firefighter in California, but was forced to retire after a back injury. He then moved his family to Arizona and embarked on a career in the medical field. He worked as a surgical catheter technician and respiratory therapist. Fisher worked as a weed sprayer for a time in the late 1980s. A man who employed him recalled that he was a quiet man and suffered from serious back pain, but was a good employee. Fisher was a surgical technician at Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale at the time of the murders. Fisher married his wife, Mary Cooper, in 1987. He was described as a cruel and distant control freak towards his family. He and his wife fought about sex and money, with Mary taking a job that she told friends was a security fund. Fisher once turned the garden hose on Mary after he perceived her to have spoken out of turn. Now, I mean, turning a garden hose on someone isn't too bad, but, perceiving someone to have spoken out of turn, that raises a few alarms in anyone's relationship where someone's only allowed to speak at a certain time, and if they're speaking out with the time they're perceived to speak, then that raises some questions. Fisher was embarrassed that his son Bobby did not like to hunt or fish, and once tried to teach him and daughter Brittany how to swim by throwing them off a boat. That's not how you teach someone how to swim, by throwing them into the sea.
What is it with some parents having this mentality that doing that kind of stuff helps kids swim better? It's like, no, I'd rather not have a panic attack in the middle of the water, thank you.
I mean, I was never great at swimming. I was always quite scared. I was like way further down the lanes than I probably should have been, compared to others. But once I learned that, it's not too bad swimming in the deep end of a pool, and I've not swam in ages, so I don't know how good I am, but just throwing someone in, and then, panic sets in, and if you don't tread water, doing the bicycle thingy, then you're going to obviously drown. So if someone doesn't know how to swim and you throw them in there, how are they supposed to know how to successfully make themselves float? They're just going to think, oh, fuck, I'm going to drown, start panicking. And panicking is one of the worst things you can do when you are swimming, because then you'll just start to drown more.
Also, I feel like chucking them, like, if you're going to do it in a swimming pool where it's, controlled a bit and it's not a big body of water, it's like, all
and there
right.
should be a lifeguard.
And there's a lifeguard, and then there's other people around, and there's normally an adult in the pool, like, to basically be next to you.
As long as it's not one that's got piranhas or anything in it, because Piranha 3D. Oof.
But I feel like throwing them off a boat is just fucking stupid.
Yeah, and obviously he's took them out on the boat because he's a keen fisherman, and I was embarrassed that his son Bobby did not like to hunt or fish. I mean, you can't always expect your child to be like the carbon clone copy of you. Yeah, you can kind of influence them as a youngster, and it's nice if you could bond over some stuff, because, I bond with my dad over some stuff, but, the generational gap is going further and further apart, where I feel like parents now are just so distant from what their kids like, where it's two different things, and it's kind of just, I don't know what that is, but my kid likes it, you know what I mean? So you can't be mad. You can't be mad.
Like, I am very much like both of my parents. So I'm very much like my mum as well right now. I am very much like her. We have very, very similar music tastes. Most of the bands that we like is pretty much the same. So we're very similar. Like, if my mum's bored, she'll message me, just be like, "Oh, do you want to come round?" Because she'll just want someone to watch something with. Like, we're on that level now, but my brother, for example, is not like my parents as much. Like, he likes video games like my dad does, but I think that's and Star Wars, but I think that's kind of it. Like, he's not got the same music taste in the slightest. He doesn't really care about going to gigs. Doesn't really want to go. He's not really bothered. He's very, very different compared to both parents, so it's kind of like that with him, but with me, not as much. But expecting your kid to be like, oh, a mini you, is just, I hate that, because it's just like, stop expecting a kid to be a mini you, because you're putting this pressure on this kid, and then 9 times out of 10 you end up being a dick, because your kid's not exactly the way you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I would, if my kid, when I have one, doesn't like some of the stuff I don't like, I like, that's totally fine. But I when he's growing up, I put him in an environment where there's video games, because I'm doing that, and music I'm listening to, he'd be listening to that as well. So I wouldn't feel embarrassed, even like any of the things. But it's one of those things where the stuff you really like, your child being able to really like it too. It's just another bonus where you can, take your son to the stuff that you enjoy, but being embarrassed, no. And plus, well, maybe back then kids were still going out to hunt and fish. That's a very American thing, though. People do not do that here. Well, not that I know of.
No, people do. Like, there's a lot of water park. Like, when I say water parks, I mean like outdoor, like actual like nature reserves around here. And if you go down, like, there's a place called Charlton Water Park, for example, that we always used to go on bike rides around when I was a kid. And they have like fishing sections. See people with the tents out, with the fishing rods and everything. I've seen quite a few people who like fishing.
Yeah, I mean, people fish up here, but I've not seen much like sons, kids. Well, like dads and daughters, or dads and sons.
I wouldn't really know. I don't really pay attention to them. I just see the tent and I go, "Oh, right, fishing, cool." See you later.
Well, you hope it's fishing. Hunting partner Sandy Gillespie said they were crying. Oh, throwing them off the boat. They were crying and Brittany was screaming, and he pulled them back in the boat and he said, "Now there, how's that?" Fisher would not allow the walls in the house to be painted anything other than white, and only a small number of pictures were allowed on the walls. Several times her mother had made special things like quilts, Mary's friend Kimberly Sue Davidson told the police. She was not allowed to hang them up. She had to store them in the closet. And then he would continually tell her, "Isn't it time you got rid of this stuff?" Fisher, nonetheless, tried to hold on to an image as a devoted family man. Mary's mother, Ginny Cooper, told investigators Fisher didn't socialize often with family because of a fear of getting too close to people and losing them. Fisher's mother, Jane, told investigators that she had been a yes sir wife who did not stand up to Fisher's father. She added that she saw similar dynamics early in Fisher's marriage to Mary and that she had spoken to her about her concerns. A close friend of his stated that his family bore striking resemblance to that of his childhood. Fisher had been an outdoorsman, a hunter, since he was a young adult. Friends noticed him exhibiting disturbing behavior on hunting trips and other outdoor activities. Maybe a bit trigger warning for this one. There is a bit of blood. But this I don't understand. So it was one case where after he killed an elk, he began smearing its blood on his face. Why? I have no idea. And then also, on at least one occasion, he sneaked up behind a family that was picnicking and emptied his gun into the air. Why? That would scare the crap out of someone, them having a picnic, and next thing there's a gun being fired off fucking behind them. Several years before his wife and children were murdered, Fisher shot a stray pit bull. He claimed he shot it because it attacked his Labrador Retriever, but police maintained that he orchestrated the encounter because he wanted to shoot the dog. So he shot a dog. You know, asshole. I know he said don't fuck with cats, but also don't fuck with dogs either.
Yeah, stop being a dickhead. Stop abusing animals. Stop being a twat.
Yes, so Fisher had been an active participant in the Scottsdale Baptist Church men's ministry, but, in contrast to Mary, had begun to withdraw from church activities a few months prior to the murders. According to some of Fisher's friends, Fisher went to the senior pastor for marital counselling. Fisher told co-workers about a one-night affair with a prostitute he met in a massage parlour. He threatened that Mary would find out that it was the cause of a urinary tract infection that left him ill for 7 days in December 2000. They did not have a happy marriage, said Wade Rensock, a former neighbour. They screamed constantly. Everybody heard it. You could hear it in the house next door, and you never really heard him scream, which is kind of weird. I mean, he had a way about him, but you never heard him scream. You always heard his wife screaming things like, "You're worthless. I could have done better than you. We should get a divorce." So if the neighbours are hearing screaming constantly coming from the house, some shit's up. That's not good. I mean, if I heard my neighbours screaming all the time, I'd be thinking something dangerous is going to happen in there. So, Fisher told a hunting companion that he was renewing his commitment to his faith and marriage because he could not live without his family, possibly hinting that he would consider suicide or a divorce. According to psychologists, an intense fear of loss is not unusual among individuals who are traumatized by a divorce in adolescence. Mary told several friends that she was going to divorce Fisher in the weeks before her murder. So, now we're going to talk about the triple homicide and arson which Fisher committed, the crime he did. So, as I said there, maybe this crime was committed because he had a fear of, losing a family, and he didn't want to have a divorce because his parents had a divorce, and he didn't want anyone to go through that thing again. His kid's going through that thing that he experienced. So, let's get into it. So, a neighbour reported hearing a loud argument coming from inside the Fisher home at 10 p.m. on April 9th, 2001, approximately 10 hours before it exploded into flames. Boom. So you just imagine they hear a loud argument, and next thing you know, the house is just gone, exploded. Police theorized that the murders took place between 9:30 p.m. and 10:15 p.m. At 10:43 p.m., Fisher was spotted on an ATM camera where he withdrew money. Now, you can see the footage. I believe you can see the photo, which is clearly him, on the camera. I'm just away to watch it now. And it's always weird to know that, well, at the time of 10:43 p.m., Fisher was spotted on an ATM where he withdrew $280, and that's after the crimes have been committed. Where is the footage?
So he's basically exploded the house, fucked off, and gone to take money out to fuck off.
$280, which... I don't know, but Mary's Toyota 4Runner was in the background. So there's a car in the back, and it's his wife's Mary's Toyota 4Runner. It's possible that Fisher later returned to the house to commit the murders, but police believe that they had already taken place by then because he was using Mary's car, in which he is alleged to have fled. Mary was shot in the back of the head, and Brittany and Bobby's, trigger warning, this is the two kids, throats were slashed from ear to ear.
Fucking hell.
At 8:42 a.m., the house exploded.
So he's killed the kids by slitting their throats, which is horrendous. Because the thing is, I think we obviously said a similar thing when we covered. Oh God, what's his name? You know what I'm on about, don't you?
Who?
That. Why is his? We literally did an episode on him. Why is his name going from my head?
What, Chris Benoit?
No.
Well, he killed his family. I thought that was...
Yeah. That's not what I'm on about, though. One sec. There we go. One sec. Yeah, Chris Watts, and we covered that case. Because obviously that included two kids. One had, he's done that to one kid, but then...
The Watts family murder?
Yeah, we covered that.
Have we?
Yes, it was a very long time ago, though.
I don't remember covering this, but I know, I know this one. Yeah,
because, either I did it at the very, very start, I'm not too sure. But
I don't know if we have or not, but I know what the case is. I don't know if we have.
I'm going to check if we have. If we haven't, then that's a future one.
But yeah, I know what that one is.
But it's the fact that obviously there's two kids involved, so he's had to kill one kid, and then the other kid has probably sat there and seen what exactly is going to happen to them before it happens.
Unless he just did both at the same time, which would have been...
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, but Mary was shot in the back of the head.
Because realistically, you'd have to keep one still. So he's clearly killed one while the other one's watched, which means the other one saw exactly what was about to happen to them. Because that's what happened with the Chris Watts case. He killed one of the girls, and then while his big sister watched, and she knew exactly what was going to happen to her. Because she said to him, don't, are you going, she actually asked her dad, are you going to do that to me? So that's the thing that gets me, is the fact that he's done that with the other one watching, knowing exactly what's about to happen.
Yeah. And they might have seen their mum, Mary, because she was shot in the back of the head. So they might have seen that happen. And then, because he might have tied them up. But it was at 8:42 a.m. the house exploded. I just think of that. I don't know if you've seen it. It's the house. There's you know the GIF of where the house fucking explodes.
Yeah.
That's what I just picture. The house exploding, not the. Wait, what? No. Where's the one? Not the Simpsons one. I can't find it on here, but it's the GIF of that White House where just everything goes. Wow.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's why I just imagine the whole house just erupting like that. So firefighters were immediately alerted to the explosion, which was strong enough to collapse the front brick wall and rattle the frames of neighboring houses for 1 mile, 800 meters in all directions. Before firefighters arrived, neighbors used garden hoses to try to keep the flames under control. I understand what they're trying to do, but it's a fire. Garden hoses ain't gonna do shit. You know what I mean? You're just trying your best, but firefighters kept the 20-foot-high, 6-meter blaze from spreading to other houses. A series of smaller secondary explosions, believed to be caused by either rifle ammunition or paint cans, forced them to keep their distance. One firefighter suffered minor injuries to his leg when he lost his balance and fell near the blaze. The gas lines from the back of the house's furnace had been pulled. The accumulating gas was later ignited by a candle that Fisher had allegedly lit, waiting for the gas to accumulate and descend to the flame hours after being lit. This delayed fuse would have given him an approximate 10-hour head start in a successful attempt to evade law enforcement. The decision to have the house explode is believed to have been an attempt by Fisher to conceal evidence of his crimes and possibly to cause police to believe that he had died. The burned bodies of a woman and 2 children were later found lying in bed in the burned-out remains. They were identified as Mary, aged 38, and his kids were very young, Brittany, aged 12, and Bobby, aged 10. Investigators theorized that Fisher murdered his family because he felt threatened by Mary's intention to divorce him and did not want Brittany and Bobby to go through what he did as a child. Do you think that's why he's done it? Or do you not?
There's no excuse in my head to kill your family. There's no excuse. There's literally none. Like, oh, we've got financial troubles. Oh, I was having an affair. Just get a fucking divorce. Leave them. Don't have to fucking kill them. It's literally, there's literally so many easy options out, which is leave. Like, you'll be a deadbeat. Sure. You'll be a deadbeat. However, they wouldn't have died. Just fuck off and do everyone a favour.
But didn't want them to go through a divorce like he had when he was a child.
I'm not going to be funny. I don't fucking care, mate. I genuinely don't fucking care. Divorce is a fucking divorce. And 9 times out of fucking 10, if there is a couple that is in desperate need of a divorce but they flat out refuse because, oh, it'll be bad for the kids, I can guarantee you right now, those kids want you to get a divorce. Those kids don't want you together. Those kids want you to split up because they know that you two being apart is what's best for them. Stop being a selfish prick, because what you're thinking is not the actual reality. Just get the fucking divorce instead of killing your family. That shouldn't even be a thing that has to be said. I think that should not even be a sentence that has to be said, ever. There should not be an option of divorce or murder. It should just be, just get the fucking divorce and fuck off. They will be much better without you. Fuck off.
Yeah, there's no need to kill someone to be like, oh, well, they shouldn't have to experience what I did as a child. You know, no child should have to die. Like, if divorce is going to happen, yeah, it's not great for the kids. But having the mindset of, well, I need to kill my whole family because I don't want them to have to go through what I did. You know what I mean? Like, I got bullied as a teenager. I don't want my kid or kids to have to go through being bullied. But, you know, if they get bullied, then that's very sad. But I'm not going to do something horrible to ensure that they don't. Be like, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to have to do this to my child to ensure that he doesn't get bullied do something horrible to him. No.
One thing that you could do with getting a divorce is you could co-parent very well. Just be fucking decent people about a divorce. Get the divorce, move out, co-parent properly, don't be a twat. Simple fucking as. It's so many kids have begged for their parents to get divorced before, and then they get divorced and everything actually ends up being completely fine. It's normally the better route, because you're thinking they're being like, oh, we shouldn't be together, I'm just going to kill her. It's like, no, I guarantee you, if you don't think you should be together, your kids are thinking the exact same thing, and they are wanting you to split up. Just get the fucking divorce. Do not result into doing horrendous crimes, which ends up with you being manhunted, which is, like, I don't understand how that could be a better option in your fucking sick and twisted head. It's like, oh, let me kill my family and then go on the run for the rest of my life. Oh, yeah, that's such a great solution. That's amazing. You're a freaking genius. You, IQ of 200, fucking bellend. Twat.
Well, the way it was done, as I said, the gas lines in the back of the house furnace had been pulled, and then the gas is accumulated, and then there was a night candle, which basically meant that when the gas would accumulate enough, it would descend to the flame, explode, which gives him, what is it, about a 10-hour head start? So he'd clearly planned that out, being like, well, I'm going to explode the house in this way so that I don't end up dying, and also I don't end up being somewhat very close to the explosion when it happens. It gives me so much time to just fuck off, and then it'll explode. And then I'm nowhere to be seen. Which is his way, but then they catch him on the CCTV footage, of course. But a slow, horrible way, because, you know, unless someone came to the house in the time and realised, oh shit, there was gas and everything's going to blow up. But nobody did. And, you know, it was all silent. So he was just away doing his own thing. So we're going to talk about the investigation and kind of what's happened after, what they found, and what they... Well, do I have to... No, there's a theories and speculation part after that, but the investigation after this. So, Fisher, who disappeared at the time of the murders, was named as an official, and to date, the only person of interest in the case on April 14th, 2001, when Arizona Department of Public Safety officers were instructed in a statewide bulletin to arrest him. On April 20th, the last physical evidence of his whereabouts surfaced when police found Mary's Toyota 4Runner in Tonto National Forest near Young, Arizona, 100 miles north of Scottsdale. So, April 20th is the last time they found, you know, any physical evidence. Not found anything more since. April 20th, 2001. Nuts. They found nothing. So that's 100 miles north of Scottsdale, and that's quite far. That is quite far, but it is Mary's car. And the family dog, Blue, was found outside the car. It had taken shelter beneath the car and was in a hungry and agitated state. An Oakland Raiders hat, identical to the one that Fisher was seen wearing in the ATM footage, and if you look at the footage, you can see, yep, definitely says Raiders on it. Exact same one. Was inside the vehicle. A pile of human excrement was found near the passenger door. Although police obviously searched the area immediately around where the vehicle was discovered, they searched only one out of dozens of nearby caves. Some of these caves form a complex underground network extending for miles beneath the surface. And several professional cavers have suggested that Fisher used them as a hiding place before either escaping, killing himself, or dying from low oxygen levels. And professional cavers have visited these caves many times since these murders, but there's been no sign of Fisher has ever emerged, or a body that would resemble him, or like skeletal remains. The Toyota was discovered less than a mile from the Fort Apache Indian Reservation, an area which police never searched. Police followed a set of footprints that led onto the reservation but uncovered no sign of Fisher. A couple reported seeing a man resembling Fisher walking along the nearby Young Road several days before the discovery of the car. According to them, when the woman saw him, she said to her husband, "That looks like Robert Fisher." However, they waited until after the vehicle was found to report the tip. Laurie Greenback, an acquaintance of the Fisher family, said that her husband had gone camping with Fisher in the area where the truck was found shortly before April 10th. She said that her husband believed that Fisher was scouting the area. According to her, he was very familiar with the region. On July 19th, a state arrest warrant was issued in Phoenix charging Fisher with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of arson. Subsequently, he was declared a fugitive and a federal arrest warrant was issued by the United States District Court for the District of Arizona, charging him with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. On June 29, 2002, Fisher was named by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, as the 475th fugitive to be placed on its 10 most wanted list. He was also on America's Most Wanted Dirty Dozen, the list of its most notorious fugitives, and was profiled on The Hunt with John Walsh. The FBI offered a reward of $100K in dollars for information leading to Fisher's capture. By April 2003, the FBI had received hundreds and hundreds of leads. However, all reported sightings of Fisher had been either inconclusive or false. So yeah, he was placed on he was the 475th fugitive to be placed on the 10 most wanted list. I mean, that's how fucking big of a deal it was. The 10 most wanted. I know it's the 475th, and that's quite a lot of fugitives to be placed in the top 10. But he was on that list, as we said, for almost fucking 20 years. Like, one of the most wanted people in the US. Like, wow. And they received hundreds of leads, but sightings have been inconclusive or false. In the years immediately following Fisher's disappearance, some people living in his old neighborhood reported seeing a man resembling him driving in the area. In February 2004, an individual with a striking physical resemblance to Fisher was arrested in Vancouver, Canada, by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The man had a missing tooth where Fisher had a gold biscuitoid, as well as a surgical scar on his back, as Fisher had. However, his fingerprints did not match. He was held by Canadian police for approximately 1 week until a relative correctly identified him. Responding to the speculation that his fingerprints had been altered, Scottsdale detective John Kirkham said that there were no scarring on them to suggest this. The man's identity was not released. The FBI alerted local law enforcement in 2012 that Fisher may have been living in the area near where Mary's car was discovered. In October 2014, police raided a house in Commerce City, Colorado after receiving a tip that he was hiding there. Despite arresting 2 occupants, they did not find any sign of him. In April 2016, FBI officials and Scottsdale police displayed new age-enhanced photos of Fisher during a news conference on the 15th anniversary of the murders. On November 3rd of 2021, Fisher was removed from the FBI top 10 most wanted list. He was replaced by Yulan Andone Archaga Carias, the alleged leader of the MS-13 in Honduras and the 526th addition to the top 10 list. Because the extensive publicity Fisher's case received during its nearly 20 years on the list has not resulted in a successful location and or capture, the case no longer fulfills that requirement, the FBI had said. Despite his removal from the top 10 list, Fisher remains a wanted fugitive. So, that guy that he was replaced by on the list is the 526th edition of the top 10 list. So, almost 50 plus people had been added to the top 10 list in the time where he was added, and he was still on there. So people were like getting added and removed, but he was still a wanted as fuck man. But, you know, they've just had no leads, nothing like that. And they have, as I said, issued altered photographs of what it may look like. Obviously, the photo we do have, he had some hair and was very much balding. People... the age-altered photographs show him to be maybe completely bald, or he could have like a mullet down the back, or they've even released ones where he might look like now he's very, very old. He does have a distinct face. You definitely see that face and go, yeah.
Yeah, he does have a distinct face. I will give you that.
But the hair, because he had that like almost balding short hair, he could have grown it to a totally different fucking style and be hiding in the shadows like that.
He could have grown it, you know, like wigs are very, like realistic looking wigs are very popular now.
Well, he had very long hair. He almost had like emo kind of hair when he was very younger, and you see that photo of him, I'm assuming it's from a yearbook, so. Was that a photo of his? No. Well, there's a family portrait photo, which I've not actually seen. Look at that. It looks like all happy, smiley. No, that family portrait photo was maybe the one where the actual main photo of him has come from. But yeah, he's probably, if he is hiding, does not look like that at all. So it's worked in his luck.
He could be listening to this right about now.
It could have worked in his. Well, it probably has worked in his luck. The fact that he has a, he was almost balding at the time.
Hi, Robert.
So we're gonna now talk about theories and speculation because we've had nothing since, just found the car, nothing. So obviously, tons of people have their theories and speculations. There's been, obviously, we mentioned there were some tips over the years, but nothing's ever come to really anything. So, and after this, I'll let you speak of what you think your own theory is. So as for theories and speculation, the murders allegedly committed by Fisher and his subsequent disappearance have attracted significant attention, and numerous theories have spawned about what ultimately happened to him. Due in part to factors such as the length of time that has gone by since his disappearance, the small amount of money, you mentioned that Fisher is believed to have had with him, and the fact he had spoken of ending his life before, there's been speculation that he committed suicide or died, probably somewhere in the wilderness where Mary's car was discovered, and that the body was never found. They can still find the remains now, but heavily decomposed. Others disagree and maintain that he most likely survived. It's thought that he may have started a new life under an assumed identity. We've seen it before in the past where folk have gone just missing and they just completely went off the face of the earth and led another life and been found. It's thought that he may have started a new life under an assumed identity. In that case, he may have died after years as a fugitive without his remains being identified. If Fisher did survive, it's thought he may have hitchhiked out of the area or had aid from an accomplice. There is a theory that Fisher may have used his survival skills, because he was an outdoorsman, to continue living in the wilderness near Payson, where his wife's car was discovered, although police and survival experts are skeptical due to the difficulty of finding food and shelter in that environment, as well as the fact that no evidence has ever emerged of someone living in the woods in that area. And he's one of the top 10 most wanted men. They would have searched the fucking woods like every inch. He could be living in a small town where he gets paid cash and he works as a handyman, said Detective John Heiselman. Or he could be in a big city and blend in. It was postulated that Fisher's disappearance took place before the September 11 attacks, with border security being more relaxed at the time than it would later become. Police have considered this a reasonable possibility. I mean, I don't know what it was like, but I do know from research that before the September 11 attacks, airports and stuff were way more relaxed than they were, and after that, US airports went full strict mode. A hostile encounter occurred in Guatemala in 2009 between tourists and a man said to resemble Fisher. Police have speculated that Fisher may have started a new family and have cited the fear that he might eventually decide to leave and annihilate the family like he did his original family as one of the chief reasons for continuing to search for him. Some police have, however, conceded that they may never learn what happened to Fisher. Maybe this is the best we have, knowing he did it and never finding him again, said Heinzelman. FBI agent Bob Caldwell's sense of his FBI agent Bob Caldwell's sense of his personality and habits is that he is arrogant. He's cocky, he's a know-it-all, and a loner. Fisher had been known to chew tobacco and favours the Copenhagen brand. His look has been described as average, but he sometimes walks in an odd, erect manner with his chest out due to a back problem stemming from the injury he suffered as a firefighter. And is an avid hunter and fisherman, and Fisher is considered armed and extremely dangerous and has ties to Florida and New Mexico. And in terms of popular culture, Fisher is the subject of a documentary, Where's Robert Fisher, released in 2011. It relies heavily on interviews with journalists and detectives, and it features interviews with his sister and one of his neighbours. The documentary includes home footage of Fisher taken by Mary, and I've not seen that, but that's what we have for theories and stuff, and yeah, I would encourage that you look at the photos of him, and if anyone has anything whatsoever and they're hearing this now and know something, tell the police for sure. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think has happened, and what do you think he is now, or where he is now, I should say?
I think he's still alive because if he had killed himself, it would not make sense for his alleged reasoning in that case, because it's like, well, it would not make sense in my head. Like, I think he's still alive somewhere.
So if he killed himself, why did he kill himself instead of just going in flames with the whole family?
Well, this is what I mean. This is why this is what I mean. He wouldn't. If he wanted that to happen, he would just be in the house with them when it went up in flames. That would be the logical thing. He would be in the house with them, like when Chris Benoit did it. It's like when Chris Benoit did it. He killed himself in the house after he did it.
Thing is, though, he might have escaped, but killed himself on the fear, as I think I explained, that he was hiding as a fugitive, but then ended up killing himself because he thought, oh shit, I actually might be found. So that's maybe the reason he's killed himself. He thought he got away with it, but he somehow, knowing that people were even maybe closer to finding him, so he thought, fuck it, I'll just kill myself so that I can never be found.
But logically, I don't know how we think he'd get away with it, because, okay, yeah, you blew up the house, but regardless, when the bodies are found, there will still be evidence in the autopsies of the remains that they do find that the wife had been shot and the kid's throats had been slashed. That evidence will still be there, so it defeats the point. He's either that fucking stupid, like, that's what I'm thinking, actually. No, he might just be that fucking stupid. But I think, because it's like you've said, it's not the first time this would have happened, where someone has committed a horrendous crime, they've managed to escape the police, and they've found they've created a new, completely separate life elsewhere. Because getting paid cash in hand is a thing that you can do. That is a thing that you do. For a lot of people that I know as well, some people I know used to get paid cash in hand not even that long ago. It's a thing that can be done. Like, he could just be doing that. Bear in mind, like you said, he's 63, so he might, you never know, might not be working now. You don't know. There's that possibility. But I think he's somewhere. He'll be in America still, because like you said, he did it around the time of, like, I think he'll still be in the US. He'll be somewhere in the US, because how the fuck is he going to get a passport to go anywhere? He's not gonna.
Well, no, I'm saying it would happen before September 11th, so there was more relaxed on flying.
Yeah, no, but you still need a passport, so I feel like if they were actually looking for him, that would have been on record, and they would have found him quite quick. Or they would have at least known that he'd left the country, something.
I mean, you can see footage of the house engulfed in all the flames.
I don't think he's left the country, because it's also a big thing with a lot of... It's a stereotype with America because of how big it is. A lot of Americans don't leave America because it's that fucking big.
The house was fucked.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the photos. Holy shit.
Yeah, they still managed to find an actual cause of death for the kids and the wife. So this is what I mean. I don't think he's killed himself. I think he's still somewhere. Because I've seen it in cases before. This is another case we've not covered it, and I know that for a fact. Mostly because I can't remember the person's name. But one thing I do remember is it was a woman as well. She committed it was one of those where she'd killed multiple husbands that she's had, and at one point she was on the she was wanted, and then they couldn't find her for years. They found her when she was 80 odd. And she had created this new life. She'd had a new family. She hadn't killed this one. But she'd had a new family. She'd had kids. She had grandkids, I'm pretty sure. But they found out where she was. And she was literally just sat in her house doing her knitting. Because she created this whole new life. After committing these crimes. It's happened. So I think that is a very high possibility that's probably happened. I don't think that he's killed himself in the middle of the desert, though, because I feel like that if you've
Forest.
Sorry. I feel like if they would have scouted that so many times. Something would have been found.
It's weird. Granted, America's huge, and you could travel all the way across America, but it just baffles me where they just find a car, the dog's still there because it's sheltered, a human shit, and they can't find anything in the area, and there's tons of caves, so it's just like, oh crap, we have to search all these caves. But even expert cavers have been like, well, if you did hide in the caves, how long can you hide for? And, you know, if you need to get food, and because he is a man who's not been homeless or anything at all, you know, he knows, had a normal life, so he knows where to get food. Obviously, I'm not saying homeless people don't, but you know what I mean? He's been into shops multiple times, so if he went somewhere, people would recognize him. And if he's out camping in the woods, you'd find the evidence of that. You'd surely be able to see something. And they've probably searched the entirety of that forest, and then, you know, how far did he get away before absolutely no one has seen him? And they've only just seen the ATM footage. Like, he wouldn't have camped out in the forest. You know, if he camped out anywhere nearby, that's just so prime for them to find out. He's had to have severely fucked off far, far, far away. Because they obviously searched the immediate area and the surrounding area. And, like, the FBI wouldn't do it in a way, or maybe they did, where, you know how obviously they find the car and then they start searching round that area, but there's no way that they would start searching the area and expanding their search meter by meter to the point where they're covering every inch of the US, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like if they searched, here's 1 meter of the forest we'll search, then we need to search the next meter, and they keep going forward and forward and forward and forward and forward, because then you're going across states, and that's taken forever if you were to get from Arizona to like Maine, and then even in Canada as well. And he could be in another country, you have no idea. Yes, he's a Yank, he's got a distinctive accent, so if he was abroad, people would be able to find him. But as I said, I saw cases of folk people starting new lives, and you'd think, well, how can somebody not know about someone's past or not know who this is? Yeah. And you know, you'd think that, well, how can somebody hide away because it's planet Earth, and we've been practically almost everywhere on planet Earth, and unless he's on a desert island or in an island where people do not go, which would be impossible because the islands like North Sentinel Island and that we don't go to because there's indigenous tribes on there, fucking there's no way of getting there if you plane, you know what I mean? So it's just an absolutely baffled mystery. And for so long, he was a wanted fugitive, and they've just nothing, you know. And however many years have gone by, almost 19, 20 years, technology's advanced so far in that time, and yet we still haven't gotten anything. And it's like, how? It's like, surely you'd find just something. But nothing. And that's where it's just like, fuck, you know, 20 years have gone by and nothing? Well, you know, no like other physical evidence or anything, and we've only had tips that have got nothing. It really makes me think that, well, we might actually be fucked in finding him. Like, he genuinely might have escaped the face of the earth and gotten away with it. It's not. So I don't really know what my theory is exactly. I just think that he didn't camp out or anywhere and like survive. I think more so he's probably just belted it and hid in the shadows and managed to somehow have a new life.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's exactly what he's done. I think he wanted to be split apart from his wife in his sick and twisted way and eyes. He's done that. So he's just kind of like...
The only way was to just take out his family and flee.
Yeah, I think that he's done exactly that. He's probably stuck to the smaller towns as well. Like, kept himself way further out, and he's done exactly that. He's probably done exactly that.
But the thing is, as well,
he's 63. Like, it's not insanely old, but it's like he's 63 now, isn't he? So
yeah, I mean, and again, Scottsdale is a part that's just outside of Phoenix, and well, you know, he could have gone to Tuscan, But, like, if you look at Phoenix, it's quite spread out. There's loads of areas of just nothing. Well, that's because it's the US. The US has so many areas that are just, like, nothing. And Phoenix is the biggest city in Arizona. I know Tucson is the capital, but he was in just off of the biggest city in Phoenix. And Phoenix is quite a desert state. So, you know, it's, you know, but the thing I always have in my mind when someone starts a new life is, how do you do that? You have so much stuff under you that, how does that work? If that makes sense, like your name, you have details about yourself registered to this, registered to that. How do you completely give yourself a new identity? Like, if I thought about it now, if I was trying to start a new life, like, all my social media, like, I've got shit under my name. How can I completely get that wiped and people not realize that I'm that person? There's so much stuff under me. Like, he was in, you know, we said that he was a firefighter. You know, he had a job in medical practice. You know, he was enlisted in the United States Navy. Like, that shit's under his name. And how do you just, poof, that's gone. I am a totally different person now. And, you know, it's like, where he is could just, you know, I can see him starting a new life, but how hard it is to just completely start a new life and whatnot. And then, but granted, we've talked about in cases where people have ended up marrying someone or whatnot and had no idea the person they married was this person. So, it's totally possible. But yeah, I saw this case and I was baffled. 19, 20 years and we've had no physical evidence, and this guy was one of the most wanted people. It's as if, like, shit like this just gets planned, you know? Like, you think, oh, there's no way that someone could just, like, do this and poof, that's them and we don't find anything. So easy to find stuff, but then it happens and you're like, shit, that happened? How? There's so many, like, hows. You're like, you think that there's no way someone could do this and not be found and be one of the most wanted people in one of the biggest powerhouse countries in the entire world, the United States of America. But it happened. And it's like, and in today's day and age with how much stuff we have, it's like, we still got nothing? I have no idea. So hopefully you've enjoyed that case and you've got your own theories and whatnot. Either you're on the side if he's alive, the side that he's dead, and if he is dead, can we find a body? Can we not? If he's alive, will he be caught or will he die just an anonymous person knowing he got away with it? But, yeah, blew up, well, killed his wife, kids, blew up the house, fucked off, only found his car, no idea. So I'm definitely going to watch that documentary to see if there's anything else. But what do you think about the possibility of us finding any more information in recent years to come?
Probably won't.
You think he's genuinely just, if he's alive, he's gotten away with it?
If he has, then I think he's gonna die and no one's gonna know about it. Or it'll be a thing like, we might find out when he's dead. It might be something...
Because they'll identify the body.
Well, not that, but I mean, more meaning that he's probably written it somewhere or something, and when he dies, he's like, oh, I'm dead now, it's your problem to deal with, see you later.
Yeah.
It might be one of those, like, he might have it on, like written somewhere to be like, oh, this is the thing that gets released when I die, and then it's like, oh, there we go, found him. He's dead now, though.
Yeah, I mean...
Apparently loads of old people confess to shit when they're on the deathbed, so that might happen.
Yeah, I mean...
It's quite common.
Yeah, because when, the Golden State Killer... That's an example of someone who got caught when they were very, very, very old and almost got away with it. So we might just at the end find him and nip him in the bud. Yeah. And get him that way. But no, I thought this was interesting to cover like a fugitive one because we haven't done that. Someone who is done a crime and disappeared. And I'm going to definitely find more fugitive cases because like with all of them, it's always... fugitive cases of people who have not been found. There's so many theories, and you can have your own theory, and you can only but hope that something comes out of this. But the longer time goes by, the more your hope starts to just dwindle, and then you think, well, we might be out of luck, you know? As smart of a race humans are, sometimes we just cannot find the thing that we're looking for. So yeah, there we go, Robert William Fisher. And like I said earlier, if anyone knows absolutely anything or does know anything by any chance, it'd be a miracle if someone's listening and knew something or thinks, fuck, I know someone that looks like that. Do tell. Please. If you have any information, tell, because this would put this case to rest. But yeah, if he is listening right now to this, that would be such a weird, surreal thing. So if you are listening, you're gonna fucking find you. You're not gonna fucking escape from this shit. I don't think you can fucking hide, you know. With the power of the internet now, Google Maps, GeoGuessr, and pro GeoGuessr players like GeoRainbolt, gonna find you, Fisher. We're gonna fucking find you. But yeah, there we go. More fugitive cases probably to come on the way. But what did you think of that, eh?
It's interesting. Definitely interesting. Yet never covered a case like that, to be sure.
And you had no idea who this guy was?
Nah, nothing.
Same thing as me. But he was one of the top 10 most wanted people in the US. Obviously, I don't live in the US. Fair. No idea. And you'd think someone in the top 10, you'd at least know about it. Or maybe I've seen it round here because he could be in the UK for all we know. Hope fucking not.
Yeah, same. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode. I've got a few ideas of what could be next week's now. I've got a few options. So we will see next week then. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time, and we hope you have a good week. Bye!
Bye!